One of the people that writes into me asked me to look at this footage. Can you see if there's anything wrong? The wall is morphing into the camera almost, and you can't see the floor. And then look at the size of that door. I'm gonna play it back and obviously go through this little bit of footage that I took. This is Nicole Kessinger's second interview at the police station. She looks like a little child sitting at the table, but you can see the ceiling, yet the ceiling goes off to the left, so you can't say it's the camera. I'm sorry, there's something very wrong there, and don't forget Chris Watts stood up, so it's not much higher than a 6-foot man, the camera on the wall. But anyway, we're going to go through the rest of the footage now. I'm absolutely horrified. Tammy has a rocket in her pocket. She has some extra bit of equipment and it's not female. Oh my goodness gracious me. Well, this bit of video is just going to be a replay of that section. I mean, when you actually have a look even at the shape of this person, like the whole thing, they are exaggerated and magnified because they do it, but look, she's got a rocket in her pocket. Bit horrified really. And does that really look like Tammy? There you go. They haven't taken the extra bit of equipment out of the picture. Yes, they've got a breast on it, but they don't forget I've slowed this down. Look at the shape of her legs then. Still got rocket in the pocket. I've slowed it down. No warping door handle though, do you notice it? Oh look, looks a bit familiar, that door handle. Looks, I've seen that in a video yesterday I was making. I don't know what they've really got in their hand there. There's something else there which is blanked out, but there's the rocket in the pocket. It's just not, I'm sorry, you cannot mistake what that is. She even looks like Graham there, doesn't she? Or what we think is Graham, because we don't know what any of them are. Still in her pocket, but not that kind of pocket. I mean, and also, what has she got on her feet? I can't quite work out if that's a pair of slippers. Oh, goodness gracious me. Yeah, maybe Graham goes to work in his slippers. But they look like they've got, like, what do you call them? Oh, I forget what you call them now. But then they sort of turn into, I don't know what they are. But there's definitely a rocket in the pocket. Oh, I'm a bit flabbergasted. This is just terrible that they do this to us. Anyway, so. What weird trousers they are. Can't work out quite what they are, because when they actually come over, they're just using body parts from other films. They like films. So those trousers are probably like from the 1920s or whatever it is. I don't know. And they stick in those bits, and then by the time Tammy gets to give the drink on the flat table, whereas Tammy's not on the same level as the table or the floor, then basically, I don't know. Here they come with the water. It doesn't even look like a bottle of water. But as I said, you know, you've got literally about a second and a second to play with, and I've made 4 minutes out of a second. But as you can see, Tammy has an extra present or a bit of extra equipment there. So Tammy isn't Tammy. So what is all this? I have made video after video. I know some of you can't see it, but hopefully you can see that. So hopefully people will see it. And their legs here, they're so big. I don't know how they do it, but anyway, none of it's real, is it? Now she's got long trousers on, see? But you saw the trousers only went to just below the knee. These things would just not disappear if they were really in the picture. I don't know what's on their feet there, and they've changed again, but you can still see the rocket in the pocket. So, yeah. So, I think everybody needs to question what the hell is going on here. Look at that. Just look at that. everybody being really nasty to me for showing you the truth. It's not my fault that Tammy's got some extra equipment in her trousers, is it? Anyway, what is all this? And then I just want to get back to the perspective of what's going on here with that bending, morphing wall like that. And don't forget, we already had Chris Watts standing up, so we know the cameras are about just over 6 foot high. So off the floor, right? But you can see the edge of that room bending down. You can see the door morphing. Tammy comes in. Yeah, I just want to go back. We're going to go back and have a look at that again, because as far as I can see, that the door has really morphed, and yet Tammy and everything else is not morphed. Okay, and then that's just a very manly stand, isn't it? Oh, and then as they come in, you imagine Tammy is only one chair nearer Nicole Kessinger, basically, but look at the size of her compared to Nicole Kessinger. Nicole Kessinger looks like a child compared to Tammy, almost a teenager size. She is not the same size as Tammy. I'm sorry, we're only talking of one chair away. Yeah, we're not talking of 600 yards. We're just talking of a very short distance. Anyway, and you see the top of the door isn't warped. No, that's warped, but the door is warped. The door's warped, but the top of the door's not warped. The door handle's not warped. It's just, look how that's bending. Anyway, I just can't get over the size difference, and like with her and that door and Tammy. Everything would be morphing the same. If one bit's morphing, everything would morph. You can't have the door and the room morphing, but the people not inside not morphing. So this is all just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Look at the size of Tammy compared to Nicole Kessinger. Just look. Can you see it yet? Hopefully everybody can see it. Plus we've already done Tammy and the rocket in the pocket. Looking at this, when Tammy comes in, doesn't she look just like Graham? Or what we can see of Graham. If you had to say who that was, and I only showed you that without the body, you'd say it was Graham. But she changes as she comes through the door there. She changes via Graham into someone else. Yeah, I've got a slight hook nose. Anybody streaming with a hook nose that you know? Anyway, and then she's got a shadow on her chin. She has a definite shadow on her chin. So why is she changing like this in front of us? How can she do that when she's in a police station? Oh yeah, look, her nose has disappeared. Nothing else of her is disappearing. It is not pixelation or anything like that, because if so, the rest of her would be pixelating. The whole room would be pixelating. Only her nose. Because they're not expecting you to see this. They're not expecting you to see this. They're expecting us to slow it down. Whoever's done this. I'm not even sure. On that arm there is a tattoo just poking through. Not sure. But she definitely loses her nose. And then when we get to the door, because all she does at this point, I've only looked at this little bit of the film. I just wanted to do the room, really, that there's something wrong with the room. But, yeah, look at that nose. How can that change into a complete crook nose? And then as she goes out of the door, she looks like someone else. Wait, there. That is someone else with a beard, moustache, something like that. That's a man. Well, it's not Tammy, is it? I know it's not that clear, but nothing they ever give us is very clear, so that's about as best as I can get it. But you can see her changing. I suppose somebody will have some remarkable answer for that and tell me why, but she can't go from a man with short brown hair into a crook nose into someone else with a nose disappearing. And actually, it's a crook nose, but you saw there, do you see? Her nose turns up. So she looks like Graham. Then she comes back here and she gets the crooked nose. No, that's it, the crooked nose. Then the nose turns up. There you are. This is all just catching it on a frame. That nose turns up. So that's somebody completely different. No mouth. And then when we get to there, there's a man. Man maybe with a moustache. You can see her change in front of you. So what excuses is everybody going to make about this then? She's changing in front of you. She goes from a man looking like Graham into someone else with her nose disappearing. And yep, that's my take on that. Nicole Atkinson is only one chair away from Tammy, and it is quite hard to zoom in and get this, but I was a bit shocked that I had a thought of what I thought Nicole Kessinger looked like, but I'm not sure anymore. Does that look like any of the photographs that we've been given? But you can't really tell because they're sitting on their side, and so you never get a full-on view of them. But she actually zoomed in, even though it's a bit blurry. Doesn't really look like the person that I thought she was by the photographs that we've been given. This person has a lot more square jaw and weird things go on with her hands. She's got those funny grey hands and her fingers get really long as she picks up that bottle, and you know, but it's a bit blurred. But I mean, does that look like the person that we thought? Does it? Does that look like the photograph of her? You can't tell, can you? Can't really tell who that is. The only thing is they've got quite a square jaw. And funny ears there. Look at that. You can even see like there's almost a beard on the end of their chin. Sorry, there's a beard. And the ears have gone all funny.